All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I am Lupagus, and today I'm going to tell you who won the Stefon Diggs trade. It's been one season. We can kind of start to look at this thing from a bigger picture, tell you who is the winner, because God forbid it's 2021 and there's got to be a winner these days. Everybody can't just be happy. So who won this thing? And a couple disclaimers before we get going. Number one, I have no ill will towards Stefon Diggs. I love Stefon Diggs. He's a beautiful man. Great player for the Vikings. I miss him. I was split. I get why the Vikings traded him, and I'm happy for him, but I do miss him. He's a hell of a player. So get that out of the way. No hard feelings towards Stefon Diggs. So who won the trade? That's everybody's question. Who won this deal? Who won? Well, it depends what you're basing this on, because I think there's two factors you really got to factor in here. Are you basing it on their production after the first year? Are you going to base it on how the teams did? Because it's two very different things. So let's just start by looking at how the players did themselves, tit for tat. What the Vikings got, what Stefon Diggs did in Buffalo. Stefon Diggs in Buffalo had 127 receptions, 1,535 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That is amazing. He wanted to be the focal point of an offense, and he was. Concerns about him going to Buffalo, to me, playing in the elements, playing with Josh Allen, who before this was a pretty erratic quarterback, overshooting guys by about 30 yards. Him and Diggsy just absolutely clicked. I think I saw a video. They played like some game together on Xbox, Call of Duty, or Minecraft or some shit. They bonded, and it showed. Allen looked for Diggs over and over again, and Diggs responded by catching the football when it was thrown to him. So he made this thing work. The offense really did focus around Allen and Diggs, and that worked for Buffalo. So Diggs, hell of a season. I mean, absolutely amazing. But flip side of that is this. It's always scary when you're the team trading a star receiver and getting a pick in return, and you go ahead and you use that pick on the same position. It puts a lot of pressure on the guy you're bringing in. We saw it back in 2005 when the Vikings traded Randy Moss for the 7th overall pick from the Oakland Raiders, and they went ahead, boneheaded ass move, took Troy Williamson, who just couldn't handle the pressure. He wasn't even worth being a drop of sweat in Randy Moss's underpants. Williamson sucks. So Jefferson comes with a lot of pressure. He's replacing. You can't sugarcoat this. He's replacing a Vikings legend. He caught the Minneapolis Miracle, won that game for the Vikings. Stefon Diggs will always be in the hearts of every Vikings fan for that win. So Jefferson, he's coming into a completely impossible situation. And what does he do with it? He smashes it. He just 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, sets the all-time rookie record for yardage in a season since the merger, sets Vikings records for a rookie receiver with receptions and yardage. And what was great about Jefferson, he did it in so many ways. He's got speed. He can burn somebody. He's already a polished route runner. He can make catches when there's guys all over him. He can go up high point the ball. He'll fight, scrap, punch for yardage. You love what Justin Jefferson brings to the game. He's also fun. He's got his gritty dance that took the NFL by storm. This guy should be Rookie of the Year. So if you're looking at this from a straight player's perspective, player against player, like I said before, tit for tat, nut for nut, dong for dong, you got to call this a push. There's no other way you can. Diggs was amazing for Buffalo. Jefferson was equally as amazing for the Vikings at a much cheaper cost. So worked out for both teams. And you can't deny that, whether you're a Buffalo fan, whether you're a Vikings fan, worked out for both teams. Speaking of teams, let's look at it from a team perspective. The Bills, as a team, making Stefon Diggs the focal point of their offense, 13-3, won the AFC North, unseated the Patriots finally, and they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I mean, if anybody's going to knock off the Chiefs in the AFC, my money's on the Buffalo Bills. I'm actually going to be rooting for them to win this thing, really. I love to see the Bills get back to the Super Bowl. And if it's with Stefon Diggs, great for him. The Vikings, what happened with the Vikings? Well, they got rid of Diggs, 7-9 season, and they're pretty much shit. Again, their problems weren't their offense, so the problems with the Vikings was the defensive side of the football. Too many injuries. You're playing backups, especially at the linebacker position. The Vikings have a lot of themselves to blame for this, but Offensively, that was not the reason why the Vikings were bad this year. It was just because their defense was shit. So if you're basing this on teams and where they are at the end of the 2020 season, this has to go to the Bills. There's no way you can look at it. The Bills win the trade if you're looking at the impact on a team in year one. So down the road, what is going to be the determination and who wins this trade? To me, it's I think there's no reason at this point to believe that Justin Jefferson is going to stop doing what he's doing. Stefon Diggs is going to stop doing the production that he's doing. So I think it's going to come down to the throw-in picks that went with this, the extra picks. The Vikings got like a 6th, a 7th last year, then a 4th this year, and the Bills got a 7th. So the Vikings trade around so much. I did my best. I really looked to figure out who the hell they took with those picks. They just traded too damn much. I couldn't figure it out. So we're going to scrap what the Vikings did with their extra picks, except for that 2021 4th rounder. Who would they get in this year's draft with the 4th round pick? Assuming they keep it, assuming we can track it, assuming that we know what it is, will be huge. The Bills use the pick they got from the Vikings for cornerback Dane Jackson out of Pitt. A guy I liked. I know Lumbar had a big old boner for 15 tackles, 1 interception, a fumble, a forced fumble, or fumble recovery, and a tackle for a loss. So 7th round rookie coming in, being fairly productive. You like Dane Jackson. So the Bills got Dane Jackson, Stefon Diggs. Right now the Vikings got Justin Jefferson, some extra picks. One of them is probably KJ Osborne, which really hurts. To me, you can't really determine who wins this thing until the Vikings make the pick this year. It's with that 4th rounder and know who you get and how he is. So that's what's going to come down to. Right now, I think you have to call this thing a push. You have to call it a push. If you're really going to be specific and you want a guy, you want a winner, you got a gun to your head, you got to pick the Bills right now just because of Dane Jackson, where the Bills are at, and how good Diggs has been. The smart money is just waiting. You got to wait a year. A year from now, we'll have a better idea. Who the Vikings get with that 4th rounder? How is that player looking? What is his projection? Then I think you can really look at this thing and grade it as a whole. But really at the heart of this thing, both teams won. Vikings they got rid of a bunch of salary, got a player who is just as explosive as Stefon Diggs. So really, this is a win-win at the heart of it. If you really want a winner, let's wait a year and we'll revisit this thing once we know who the Vikings take with that 4th rounder. Until then, guys, always remember, even you Buffalo fans, keep your skull in your hole.